John from Jet Set Citizen, and today I'm in Chiang Mai, and we're in our house here in Chiang Mai that we have for one more day, but on our last day here, we're going to interview Sebastiaan van der Schrier. Is that right?
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. His website is socialanxietysolutions.com with dashes in between. I'll share the link below, but today we're going to interview about his travel lifestyle and also his business that he's doing here. So Sebastiaan, please introduce yourself a little bit.
My name is Sebastiaan. I've been living here in Chiang Mai for the past 2.5 years now. Before, I've lived in the Philippines, I've lived in South Africa, and I am off to Korea in about a week.
Off to Korea, cool. So can you tell us a little bit about how you started in your travel lifestyle? When did you first leave your home country of the Netherlands?
Right. That was when I was about 18 or 19 years old. My friends who were a bit older than me, they traveled in Australia, and they had all these big stories about it. So I was like, wow, I want to experience this as well. So I was 18 or 19, and I did a 3-month backpack trip in Thailand by myself, which was awesome.
Okay.
I rocked my world. And
you went all over Thailand?
The intention was to go to Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, the typical thing. But I got stuck in Chiang Mai, actually back then already too. Yeah. And yeah, I stayed for 3 months, and then I came back. When I came back from backpacking, I was like, this is the life I want to live. You know, I'm not going to live in the Netherlands anymore. And then about a year later, I had an opportunity to go work in South Africa because I found this job online. Go work for IBM. The salary is not great, but you get to have massive adventure and lots of this, lots of that. And we were actually setting up a help desk for IBM, and I jumped on it and then lived in South Africa for 1.5 years. And I don't know how much you want me to tell you.
So you've lived in Philippines, in Bali, in South Africa?
Lived a little bit in Bali for about 2 months. Mm-hmm. I got a bit lonely there because the people there don't really speak fluent English, and I would meet people. Most of them are Australians. They're surfers. Yeah. So I would have friends for 3 days, and after 3 days, it's like, well, we're off somewhere, and I was trying to set up my business. And so you get kind of lonely because it's fun to have chit-chat conversations, but if that's the only conversation you have, that gets pretty boring.
So you're saying in Bali that there's not long-term travelers, long-term
back then not like that. This is like 5 years ago. Okay. This was after South Africa, before I went to the Philippines. Okay. Because when I came back from South Africa, I was like, okay, I want to live abroad. And I came back and had like 4,000 or 5,000 euros in debt. And I told my friends, I'm going to be out of the Netherlands within a year, and they all laughed at me. But I eventually got my mom to get a second mortgage and actually borrow 15,000 euros from her, which is awesome. And that set me off because now I had money for a ticket, and I took off to Bali. I bought 2 Lonely Planets, so the pictures looked so tropical. So I had the Philippines and Bali, and I first went to Bali, and because I didn't like it that much, after 2 months I went to the Philippines.
And where in the Philippines were you?
I was in Cebu, which is basically the Philippines consists of 3 parts. Manila and surroundings, Cebu and surroundings, and Mindanao, which is the dangerous part where white people basically don't come because they don't. That's like 30 years back in civilization. They don't have any cell phones, no internet, and if you're there, you're like literally the only white person there.
So can you give us a little rundown on your living costs in those kind of 4 places? Like many people say Cape Town is supposed to be a beautiful city.
It is.
And so tell us what Cape Town's like. And specifically your costs.
Right. Well, what Cape Town is like, it's I was only there for 3 weeks because I was living in Johannesburg. But Cape Town is a very sunny city in the time that I was there. And beautiful beaches. very laid back people. Like when you walk into a store, it's like, hey, how's it, bro? And like people try to start a conversation with you and stuff. And living cost, I was dealing with the salary of IBM, which you would think is like, wow, big company, lots of money, and not at all. And we could hardly get by, and it's a little bit less expensive than it is in the Netherlands. So yeah, kind of, I think you have a diverse crowd. So we managed to survive on €1,000 a month.
Okay. And like Johannesburg, my immediate idea is that danger and crime and
yeah, that's accurate.
And what was it like there?
I didn't really feel that unsafe,
okay,
because we were kind of living in a more posh area.
Does that mean like a fancy hotel or?
Well, like they told us, you guys are gonna get. So the basic idea was we're gonna set up a help desk there, and it was 50 people from the Netherlands, 50 people from Cape Town, and because we spoke Dutch, the Cape Townians would pick up the Dutch.
Okay.
And it was like, well, you guys are gonna come here, and we're all gonna put you gotta figure it out for yourself, and you guys are gonna live together in a house. So I lived.
100 people?
No,
okay.
No, like you gotta form your own little groups, and they coupled you up. So at first I lived with 6 dudes in one villa, like a huge mansion. And after that we lived with 9 people in a former guest house. We all had our own room, and it was fantastic. Like we had our own pool, our own tennis yard, and everyone their own room, and we had an in-house bar. And so every day, you would always be someone to have a beer with or talk with or go.
So you were in kind of a gated community, so you weren't in the city of
exactly. But there's like a big difference between rich and poor, because like where we were staying, our neighbor would have like a Ferrari and massive cars, like 2-3 cars in front of his house. And you get to the traffic lights, and there's a mom with her baby on her back begging for some money, right? So there's quite some contrast.
Okay. So you spent a lot of time in Chiang Mai. That's where we met earlier in the year, last year, and also the Philippines. Can you give a little comparison, Philippines, Cebu to Chiang Mai, for example?
Sure. Cost-wise, the Philippines might be a tiny little bit more expensive, because the place to stay is more expensive and your food is more expensive. And that's because the street food in the Philippines is not that great. And in Chiang Mai, it's fantastic, like $1, and you have a meal, and you can get food anywhere. And like Chiang Mai is like one of the cheapest places to live, and high quality of living. People nice, people are friendly. There's a lot of different things to do, I'd say, and quite a fair amount of expats. Philippines, awesome place, like the nicest people ever. Everyone's fluent in English. That's just the greatest thing. And for being on a holiday, the Philippines is great. Like it's prettier than Thailand, even the south of Thailand. And it's you really feel like you're on an adventure when you're in the country, and it's safe while you're traveling, as long as you avoid Mindanao. So. Yeah.
So when you say a little more expensive, it's like 10% more expensive?
Yeah, maybe 25% more expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, but like you can get by, you can live fairly comfortable in Chiang Mai for $1,000 a month.
Is that how much you spend here, do you think?
I think I spend a little bit more, maybe $1,250, $1,500, something like that.
All right.
And in the Philippines, I probably spent like $2,000 at least.
$2,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not spending anything crazy. That's more because I travel sometimes, I guess. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your business, Social Anxiety Solutions. What do you do? How did you get started in that?
Okay. I'm a personal coach. Specialized in helping people overcome social anxiety, and specifically social anxiety disorder. And what that is it's for people that don't understand it, it's an extreme form of shyness, but it's shyness to such a degree that you can't function anymore. So you can't basically you feel anxious and uncomfortable anywhere you go. So you can't have normal relationships with people. You know, you can't have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. You know, no social life. You know, it's pretty messed up. And I do that because I had that myself. I had to overcome it myself. And as I overcame it myself, I discovered this technique that helped me do that. And using that technique, because that was so incredible, that made such a big difference for me, I specialized in that technique, which is called EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques. And I now coach people over Skype. I've been doing that for about 3 years, more than 3 years, and I sell a product as well on my website, Social Confidence System. So for people suffering from social anxiety, to systematically get them from wherever they are to feeling calm and relaxed in social situations.
What is that product? Is it an ebook or a video course?
And it's actually a product that I still work on. It's like continuous work in progress, kind of like my life's work, because it's a complicated problem to overcome. Even when you have that, you know, even when you have EFT, that quote unquote magic tool, right? Yeah. So it's 36 videos, 60 or 70 audios, and a whole bunch of articles. So it teaches people how their brain works, why it is that they have anxiety. It finds the root causes as to why they have anxiety, along with specific videos with instructional EFT to move past all their blocks so they can feel comfortable and relaxed around others and travel. Right.
So on your website, you talk about some of your social anxieties. Can you please explain like where you started from, where this all came from, your own personal experiences?
Right. Where my social anxiety came from, or how I experienced it?
Or what were your social anxieties exactly, just like you explained on your video on your website?
Right, okay. My anxiety, it started when I was 12 or 13. I was teased for having big ears, and from that the anxiety started a bit, because interestingly enough, before I was 12, I had no anxiety whatsoever. And then I did something really stupid, and I was threatened for quite a long time, which also added on to the anxiety. And then it got really bad when I was, I think maybe 16, 17. Girls came into the picture, and I felt really uncomfortable and really anxious, and I was like, yeah, going over and talking to them, how the hell am I going to do that, right? And what am I going to say? And you know, what if other people see that I get rejected, and there goes what people think of me? And like that just got worse and worse and worse, until a point where I felt that you know, everyone was better than me, and I was like the biggest loser in the world, and I was afraid that I was never going to get a girlfriend, never was going to have sex, and I thought that I wanted to be a grandpa, so it'd be nice and safe, have my little garden, and you know, it was really, really bad.
Well, talking to you now, you obviously don't have very many inhibitions. You're pretty outgoing. You talk to everyone. So have you completely transformed your life, you think, with this?
Right. Yeah. Already like a couple of years ago, and that was very challenging because nothing really worked.
Okay. So you're looking for solutions.
I kept looking for solutions because all that I found online kind of didn't work for me.
So did you try psychiatrists or professionals?
I tried a wide variety of stuff. I did the cognitive behavioral therapy technique where you change your thoughts and you face the things that you fear. I did really stupid things to keep it in the travel thing. So one thing, which is kind of funny, what I did, I haven't even told you that, is you need to do the thing that you fear the most. Well, I cared a lot about what people thought of me, and I learned that if you flood yourself, if you do something that you really fear, then you kind of become more resistant to that. Well, I was afraid of looking weird and of people thinking that I was weird or stupid or not cool. So I actually, I was in KL, Kuala Lumpur, and I bought some lipstick. And I smeared the lipstick over my lips and over my eyes. And I looked like a freak, right?
Yeah.
And so I went walking through KL for about an hour. and I felt extreme
throughout the city.
Through the main city, and people are like, "Hey, you know, what's that on your face? What's going on?"
I highly recommend this technique to all of you watching this.
Great. Try that. Nothing else worked. That's what you should definitely do.
So being a transvestite is the solution to social anxiety.
And that's just one of the things I did, and while it might have helped me a bit, the result didn't really stick.
Yeah.
So I even went to the extreme to do stuff like that. I was desperate to overcome this because I knew that I could feel comfortable because I felt like that before I was 12, right? As I would just want to go back to my natural state. And that's when I found EFT. And then with the help of some experts and specialists, I eventually was able to get rid of all that anxiety and all that shame and all that negative emotions from the past. And, you know, then once eventually I was able to just be relaxed around others and make friends, and, you know, then I was like, wow, this is possible, and, you know, other people should know about that too, and hey, I can make a business out of this.
Right. Actually, like today before this interview, I have some social anxieties as well that we went through. Maybe I'll share in my own experiences underneath this video interview later on, but I went through his coaching session for about 2 hours, and I think it is transformative. I just like it's still new to me, so I don't know how it's going to translate to my life coming up in the future, but it definitely
update them.
I'll have to see the next couple of weeks how it comes. So you went from studying all these things and getting that training for yourself, and then how did you become an expert on this stuff? How did you turn that into a business for yourself?
Well, when I was in South Africa, I read, I think it was on, I was already interested in self-development and stuff because I wanted to overcome this, right? I think it was development for, personal development for smart people, something like that. Steve Pavlina is the guy's name.
Right.
And he recommended to me a website called Site Build It. And that's a website that teaches you how to set up your own site, and, you know, I was like, okay, great, I can do this. So I bought that and started chipping away at it, and because I had the idea, hey, eventually I can be a coach, and eventually maybe, hopefully, I can sell a product, and this can become a business. And, you know, the idea was born, and I kept at it, and I made a lot of mistakes. And right now, as I'm starting to understand how you actually build a website, I'm figuring out that my website is pretty shit when it comes to getting traffic, because I did it all wrong with the keywords. But I've built up an online presence through videos, and, you know, people get results when they work with me, so there's word of mouth, so I can keep myself going.
So, like, more specifically in terms of you becoming that expert and developing that expertise, that knowledge for yourself, is it just a matter of going out and taking many courses and trying to get that information yourself, or do you have to? It's a
lot of experience in coaching itself, but you wanna learn from the best in the world. So I took workshops with the leaders in the EFT world. I did a lot of online courses. I got certified in all the levels of EFT. I work with my own world-class coach. I still do, not on social anxiety obviously, but on a wide variety of other topics to just get your business growing.
Like you have a business coach?
I have a business coach to always continuously keep growing in all areas. And and then you get the best training that you can. You educate yourself, and eventually you're at a point where you're good enough to start coaching. And then you start coaching, you get a lot of feedback, and you improve, and you have your coach to check things in with, and so you go on. And
so you have a full-time income now from your website and your coaching?
Yeah. And I have had since about 2.5 years.
For 2.5 years you've been living off of this?
Yeah.
So can you tell us, like, how many coaching clients you have a week, or how many? What do customers buy from you when they come to your site?
Sure, they either buy one-on-one coaching. So I have coaching packages, either 3 sessions or 10 sessions. And they either buy that or they buy my social confidence system.
Which is the videos, like you're talking about videos and
which is an online system.
Okay. And like, can you get the results from the product rather than the coaching?
Yes, but the coaching has the added benefit. That's a bit faster, because you get personal attention. And with the social confidence system, I'm more elaborate.
And so people always talk about automating your business and trying to create products that you can sell when you're sleeping. Does that work, or is it?
I guess it works.
Yes.
Like I have not been able to set that up properly, but even though it's not set up properly, just with selling systems, I think I make on average around $1,200-$1,300 a month.
Right.
And that's like now it's set up in a pretty shitty way. Like I'm actually now that my product is so good that I'm like excited to share it with people. Now I'm figuring out, okay, how am I going to set up my website so that I actually get traffic to my website? How do I set up pay-per-click? How do I make sure that people understand that I'm not bullshitting them, that there's actually value in what I have to offer, and blah, blah, blah. So you got to study a lot of different things. You got to study how to do marketing. You got to study how to do things in an authentic way, because there's different types of marketing that works for different people, and it's not easy. You know, it's people that say it's easy, just set it up, you can bang out a product in a that's the biggest bullshit. You might be able to bullshit people into buying your stuff, but your reputation will be shit, and as a result, you know. Plus, how good are you going to feel if you're going to scam people?
Right.
So.
Well, a lot of people do scam people, though. If anything for money for some people.
Yeah. Well, that's their thing.
So once a customer buys from you, do they become a lifetime customer? They're always coming back to you, or is it kind of you fix their problem and it's done?
It's difficult to say, because most people buy my system, right? So I either don't communicate with them because they go through the system, and you know there's no interaction with me. Like that's how it's set up. Like they have access to me if they have a question. You know, some people I just never hear from, so I don't know. Other people that I coach with, they either they get the result that they want, and then then we're done, right? Because I'm specialized in helping people overcome social anxiety disorder. Once they overcome that, then they're like, okay, this is it.
All right. And so, do you see other niches where your model could work, like not just for solving social anxiety disorders? What other things could potential travelers or digital nomads kind of take from this lesson and do something on their own? Have you identified other coaching kind of things that could be transferable to other areas?
Great question, John. I have no idea. I think that if you have overcome something, or you're like really good at something, and it has value to other people, like it has a lot of value to other people, and people would be willing to pay for it, then you can set up a website, and if you can figure out a way to create a product out of something that you're passionate about with something that adds a lot of value to people that they actually would want to pay money for, then you can set that up. You can use Market Samurai to research the keywords that go along with that which you're passionate about. You can use I Love Marketing. It's a fantastic podcast show. Listen to that and you'll learn, you'll get a basic understanding of marketing. You can use SiteSell to set up a website, and you can use these resources to get yourself started. Brendan Burchard is a good one to check out. If you have, but you gotta have something of value to offer. Like if there's something, if you in some way can improve the lives of other people with what it is that you have, then you can. And what Brendan Burchard also says is like you can become an expert by interviewing other people.
Right. He's a marketing.
He's
person?
a marketing guy. I don't think if that's the best approach, but basically, short answer: if you can deliver value that people are willing to pay for, then you can make it work.
Well, one thing I love your business model is that like many people start doing a very generic travel blog or talking about a diary of their experiences, and they don't really have any direction that they can sell. But yours is very, very specific, solving a very strong problem that people have, like social anxiety is a huge thing. So it's good that you're that niche and that you're that targeted.
Yeah. Well, I wish that was my brilliant business idea, but that was like it came natural. like I didn't even think this out that well. It's like, okay, I overcame this, and now I can set that, like, I wish that it was my brilliant business idea, because then I would have researched it in the beginning better and wouldn't have picked all those stupid keywords,
right.
and so my website would be doing a lot better.
And that would be my last question that I want to ask you. Now that you've been doing this for 3 years and you've built a good business and it's providing a full-time income, if you were starting today with the knowledge that's in your head today, what would you do different if you're building this out now?
I would research my website better. That's basically what I'm doing today. I'm figuring out the things that I did wrong. So what I did in the beginning is, like, I set up my website and I didn't really understand well enough how to get a lot of traffic to my website. I just, like, my main keyword of my website is social anxiety. Well, there are too many websites in the world that have that as their main keyword. So my website will never be up there on the first place with of Google, and therefore it doesn't get any traffic. So I need to find other ways of getting people to my website. So now I'm changing all of that. So that would be a big one.
So you don't hire, like, professional web developers or people to help you with this kind of stuff?
I do, yeah, on Odesk, and it's hit or miss. But I have a guy working for me now. His name is Nafiur. He's from Bangladesh, and he works for $3 an hour. And he doesn't do very sophisticated work, but he's great at it, and he's super happy with the work that I provide, because he makes, in his country, like, an average salary is $100 a month for a decent job. So he makes well over that, and I'm happy with that. Once I start making more money, he starts making more money, and he knows that, so he's motivated, and that's great. But on the other side, I've also had a lot of people that you go to Odesk, they start to work for you, and then you don't hear from them anymore, or the quality of the work that they deliver is shit, or it's up and down. You really gotta, so advise with regards to that, screen them, and pay them well, and see if you can get them motivated to actually want to contribute and make your business better. And interview them from the beginning. Don't just go for the cheap stuff.
So how about hiring, like, professional marketing companies, like spending $5,000 or $10,000? Is that a good investment?
That would be great if I had that money.
Yeah, that money. Yeah. So you don't hire those people because you don't have that cash right now.
Well, at the moment I don't have that money.
Okay.
So I would be, if I give advice on that, it's like blind leading the blind. I have no idea.
Okay. Well, let's finish up with one last question. I said the last question was the last question, but this will be the last question. And so you've been kind of basically traveling, living the digital nomad lifestyle for years now. How do you like this lifestyle? What are the ups and downs of living this lifestyle?
Okay. Ups are freedom, right? I live where I want to live. I do what I want to do. I have about two coaching sessions a day, because I don't want to do more, because it's intense. And so I schedule these in my day, and I kind of plan my day around it.
And so those are probably American customers. You have to be, like, in the middle of the night to do those?
No, my work schedule is from 9 a.m. to midnight.
Okay.
But so they will have to make it work, and they can, because I have such a there's like 18 or 19 hours of availability.
Okay.
If I did the math right. Anyway, so upsides, a lot of travel, a lot of adventure, a lot of freedom, a lot of change. Downside, for me personally, has been I've lived in. So I said, I lived in 4 different countries, but I've also traveled a lot within that. So I've not been staying in one place for longer than an X amount of months, and that tends to cost you your social life, and so you don't have many deep friendships.
Because you're moving all the time.
Because you're moving all the time. So I've had, now I have 2 close friends, and I've got my girlfriend, which is awesome, and that's it. And now I'm going to Korea for 3 months, but after those 3 months, we're going to Taiwan, likely. And that's where I kind of want to set up camp and be in one place for a little bit longer.
How long is long for you?
For about a year. And set up more of a solid social network. Stay in one place. Travel, but not travel for months and months and wander off. Because if you become the perpetual traveler, it's like then you never have a home anywhere.
Yeah.
And that just kind of sucks. And other upsides, you get to see the world, you get to experience different cultures, you get a very open-minded perspective of what life's about. You meet so many different people that you really you become open-minded, because so many people have different opinions, different ideas, and I've had the weirdest experiences. There's little that surprises me. I can write a book about the weird things that I experienced in those couple of years, and yeah.
So, is there any chance?
Excitement.
Any chance we can get a picture of you with makeup and lipstick on?
Well, I didn't document it.
Well, will you do that again for us?
Well, if you sponsor that marketing thing for $5,000 or $10,000,
Okay. Well, thank you very much. And let me try to say your name again. Sebastiaan van der Schrier.
Van der Schrier.
Van der Schrier.
That's right.
Van der Schrier.
That's
okay.
good.
Thank you very much, Sebastiaan.
You're welcome.
Yes.